wide, but running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane. Stop shutting. Maria's got a lot left. Stop shutting. Maria goes on. Sweet Cat is right there. Hard not to right. Royal Body is running on. Past the 8 ball, they come. Stop shoving. Maria for the run. Still under a hand ride as they come to the 16th. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late. Yes, Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten. Stop shoving Maria. Stephanie's Kitten's watered. Watch the chances, broke smartly, but so did Tara from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern the Grey going well. If he can get through, Sky Lantern the Grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Tara from the Cape hanging on. Tara from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside now, here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun coming on to finish third.
From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course, Clare Court. Less flooded, no golf carts stuck in the middle of it. Dry. Little muggy out here. Mosquitoes are out in full force early a.m. today, but off the turf for all but the 6th, I am told. But bringing my friend and colleague Seth Merrow. Seth, good morning. The day after, a little rough yesterday on set at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I was watching you guys early on, and man, you could hear it coming down and hitting the tent. And when I arrived a little bit later, yes, there was a golf cart.
Yes,
Clare Court. Somebody thought I'm gonna make it, and didn't realize it was substantially deeper than they anticipated. Clearly,
golf cart does not have high clearance. It's not like a Jeep Wrangler or something, so that didn't work out too well. But kudos to the bettors out there, because 4-1 was the longest price horse yesterday on the card. That is a good job by the people out there. I'll tell you, I have not done a study on it, but anecdotally, I think the public does very well on off-racetrack days. And I don't know if it's the main track only horses that kind of dominate type things, but there aren't main track only horses in all 9 races, because some races are on the main track. But 4-1, a $10 winner yesterday, was the longest price on the day. Luis Saez had a couple, I know that, so that train just keeps on keeping on. But I was actually surprised we're on the turf at all today. I mean, it is a rarity, that mile and 3/16 race at the top of the stretch. That's not a stakes race, but we're going to try and get one of them in today. And you know, it's greatest game in the world played outdoors, but it was rough outdoors yesterday.
Yeah, and as I say, you could, when I watched you guys early, you could hear it banging on the tent, and you guys were commenting on how heavy it was coming down up here, and it let up as the day progressed, but it never really got out of a steady kind of a shower of type of a thing.
It just happens. I mean, it's we had one year, I've said this before, I want to say 01 or 02, it never rained during the running of the races.
Oh, yeah, no, there was
one time it rained about 5 minutes after the last race, but it never rained. And a friend of mine, we attend the races every day together. After about the 5th day, we started paying attention to it. I mean, yes, it was off the turf races, it rained in the morning, everything. But during the actual racing, it never rained.
Yeah, and there was that
hard to imagine.
Summer, may have been the same summer, where you get like the Tuesday rainstorm, and then the next day it was beautiful, and so it went through the whole season. Yeah, the year I'm thinking of, we certainly lost some turf, you always do, but it wasn't many. It was literally a handful. And unfortunately, this year has been a little dicey weather-wise. Obviously, yesterday was the exclamation point on that because of how heavy it rained yesterday. I think today it's supposed to be a nice day, a little bit overcast, but I think things will dry out a little bit today, hopefully. But it was just, the damage was done yesterday.
I mean, and it's also the point where it's not as though we had a drought for 15 days in the summer and the turf course was baked hard, and it takes like an hour of rain just to soften it up. It's already been softened up. So we'll see today in the 6th race. They're scheduled to be on the melon turf. They'll start at the top of the stretch, and we'll see what kind of sod goes backwards.
After yesterday's racing, you mentioned Luis Saez. He a clear leader now, 44 over Jose Ortiz with 36, Irod with 34. Then you drop down to Joel Rosario with 25, but an 8-win lead for Luis Saez at this point. And Mike Maker has a 3-win lead over Chad Brown, 22-19. Todd Pledger with 15, Steve Asmussen with 12, Bill Mott 11, Robert Tross with 10. And I'm going to go up after we finish today. We're going to go back right behind us, Robert Tross and his wife. We're going to interview Rob, and we'll have him on Racing Across America tomorrow.
So this is it. We have to make a stand now then. He's won a grade 1. We seem to have 95% pronouncing it differently than you. So your job is to come back tomorrow morning and tell me directly, because I want to get it right. But I have to tell you, the guys who are the New Yorkers and are here every day that we see on television, they disagreed, and then I think it was Anthony said to Anthony that it rhymes with mattress, and they kind of going along. You're the one holding out the butt.
I'm asking him because I've heard it, the emphasis on each.
And whatever that's what we're going with. That is your job assignment. Rob, just tell us the proper pronunciation of your last name so we can go forward. But I think, kudos to you if you're right, but you are.
I am not claiming to be.
Actress. I think it is, the grade 1 winner of Coaching Club American Oaks, who will be back in the Alabama tomorrow, and I think she's going to be heck to pay again. Do you want to do the promos, or do you have anything?
I don't think I have the promo. We'll
figure that out. Do you have anything going on besides the contest you're in?
I will. Toss out the. This is my first opportunity to do it. I appreciate you guys. There we go.
Good job, guys.
And if you, the link is written down there. If you don't have a chance to write it down, go over to my website, Equidaily, and at the top of the page, there's a link to the America's.
Is this going to be like the 1970s All-Star ballot stuffing thing?
Yes. Okay.
I think one time in the 50s, they did it in Cincinnati, and the whole team was the starter. I think that was the first known case of it. So we are promoting ballot stuffing. Seth, I have to ask something, because you were and are slow to the media platform. Is there somebody out in America that took Seth Merrow, and you had to put the two in?
I was Seth Merrow too. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, by the time I signed on, there was another one. Hard to believe, but it is true. On Twitter, I'm Seth Merrow too, because Seth Merrow was gone. But swing over to Equidaily if to find the link. It's right at the top of the page, and go over and give me a vote. America's favorite TV personality. They are facing off. I'm up against some national juggernauts, but I've been sitting in the top 10 amongst 46 since the beginning of the week. Tomorrow is the last day of voting, so if you haven't voted yet, and if you voted at the beginning of the week, they reset the leaderboard, so I think you can jump back in again and give it another
Val
try.
Stuffing
And
is
I
alive and
certainly,
well.
certainly appreciate the vote.
Now, that was a borderline. The style reminded me of a Seth Merrow tie, but the color reminded me of a Steve Pick tie.
Yeah, if it's got stripes, it's not mine.
It's okay. So that was a Steve Pick, who was out in California.
Yeah.
I am
Pacific
green with
Classic
envy,
for
the
the
Pacific
radio show.
Classic. Is he scheduled to do it via the plane on Sunday, loose on the lead?
No, I think he'll
stay?
probably stick around for a few days because then he's headed over to Vegas for the National Handicapping Championship on Travers weekend. So I'd imagine he would stick in Del Mar probably.
Is it always Travers weekend? I've never.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's usually February.
Right. So
But the pandemic canceled
pushed it
this
back
year,
and they
postponed
chose
it
Travers
essentially
week?
to
Wow.
Vegas wasn't open back in
No.
January and February, so they postponed it until this weekend. And no, because normally we go out and cover it. We have the last couple of years prior to the pandemic.
yeah, I've seen some of the
And
interviews you've done.
It's
with
a lot of
the-
fun.
yeah.
But this
Vegas
year,
is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You don't imagine in August it might be a little warm. I've never been there July and August. I've been there most of the other months.
I
But
will say the Vegas casino pools look like I could make the most of that in
Absolutely.
August.
it's great. You ready?
I think I am.
All right. As I said, as of this moment, I think the 6th will be our turf race of the day. And as I said, the fans yesterday, 4-1 was the longest shot on the board. We might have that streak. Oh, by the way, over here. No. By the way, as I said in the Saratoga special, going back to Conquistador Cielo, which is 40 years ago, that they had the top 3 betting choices had dominated all but one, and that streak ends today. And High Oak from Mike Francesa and Lee Einsedler scored I thought a very impressive victory.
Yeah,
Well, you liked Gun Night with me, right? You
Yeah,
were with
and I
me.
thought Gun Night-
He ran great.
Yeah,
he ran great.
Oh.
He actually, he ran really good because he was on the pace chasing and, got run over by High Oak in the second career start. But I thought Gun Night was real good.
I saw Lee before the race. He's liked his horse, so I threw it into a triple.
Oh, good for you.
And I saw Lee after the race. Well, we had Lee on Sunday morning, and he said it. He thinks the horse is going to appreciate going further. He thinks the
Well, he had that look.
better.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was like scary good how
he
he
thinks
just...
these first 3, he's kind of doing something he doesn't even really like.
Right. No, that's legit.
First couple.
So that's, as Yogi Berra would say, his future is in front of him. So the opener, we will race at 1 mile and an eighth off the turf, 3-year-olds in for 50,000. Mr. Briggs is the MTO at 7-5, draws the rail. I didn't think he had this field over a barrel. Once again, we play the guessing game, Seth. You're looking at this, I'm thinking the 2 and the 7 are 2 that you think might come out, but the rest might say, you got to handicap that. But who do you like in the opener today?
Yeah, I don't think he has the race over Bill either, but I used him. Not with a lot of. I mean, it's made special weight to maiden claiming to hit the surface they want. He has early speed. Certainly will be sent from the rail. It just may lead him on a merry chase in here. But I thought Fingal was a player. Comes out of a nice off the turf win last time against 40 claimers. These are 50 claimers. I don't think this is any kind of a class elite by any means.
No.
So I think this one fits perfectly well. And then City Magic also in the mix for me off a second place finish behind Fingal in that off the turfer. I have 50 Shades of Gray.
I'm intrigued to see if he stays in, because I would be inclined to stay in.
I thought on the class move and the bullet work last time, he might stay in and subsidize for Chad Brown, and Klarovich has some dirt for him as well. I could probably have about equal confidence on any of those, but I just, because they get the surface they want and the early speed with Mr. Briggs, I tilted in that way. 1, 3, 4, and 5.
I mean, if I was guessing, I'm thinking the 2 and 7 were coming out, and I have to tell you, the 5 others I'd have live. I mean, I know Mr. Briggs will break from the inside is 7-5 on the morning line, and we mentioned very regularly, and rightfully so, how good a job David Aragona does with the morning line in New York, and that is an important job, and he does a great job. But the 3, the 4, and I think the 5 is staying. I mean, you talk about a horse who's all 3 career starts have been on the turf, comes out of the tail of the Cat Stakes, not our tail of the Cat Stakes, but Monmouth Park's 8.5 furlong turf race the Taylor Cat Stakes, but you have Tiz Now, you have Unbridled Song, and as Seth mentioned, on August 14th at Monmouth Park, put in a bullet 47-2 handily on the dirt. I'm making the leap of faith that 50 Shades of Grey, he is staying in here. To me, I'm 4-3-5 in here, and I mean, it's not that I'm tossing Mr. Briggs out, but I just think this is a case where, and we had two yesterday, Seth, back, I don't know if they were back-to-back, I apologize, but one where I thought the MTOs were just in the mix, and another where the MTOs seem to have the race over the barrel. I think this race will probably be, if I'm guessing, it's going to be 5. I think the 2 and 7 are coming out, and I think everybody's live in here. So for me, it'd be 4-3-5 in the opener.
All right, race number 2 on Friday afternoon. State Bred Made Specials going 3/4 of a mile.
And the veterans in here are the 2 and the 8. And by veterans, I mean having started once before in their career. So you have 6 firsters in here, and I'm 4-1-3. Empire Lily for Jorge Abreu, who he had 3 the other day, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, he had 3. It's the first time starter who's an offspring, a pioneer of the Nile. And I think it gets lost in Mind That Bird's unbelievable score in the Kentucky Derby. I think Pioneer of the Nile ran second, right? I think he carried him to the 8th pole. And if you remember, that was I forget what the official labeling of it was, and I don't trust it, because if you remember, Always Dreaming won in what they called wet fast. It looked like slop to me, and I think Mind That Birds was sloppy too. And Pioneer of the Nile carried him deep into this, and that's where I'm going. Empire Lily, first time starter, number 4, who is 3-1 on the morning line, and that's just where I fell for second. From the rail, Rudy Rodriguez sends out the 1, who is an offspring of Lord Nelson. I think this is Lord Nelson's group, but what I remember about Lord Nelson is, Seth, he's one of those horses, a very good sprinting career, but where he is in a smaller group he's one of those horses when after they drew the Breeders' Cup field, he was one of those, I talk about it every autumn when I get the chance. You hold your breath for 10 days. He was one of the ones that scratched like on Thursday out of the Breeders' Cup and didn't make it, but he's a young stallion. He's precocious, I'm going to guess. I think there's some moisture love. You have Pulpit, you have Birdstone on the bottom. Trinity Tutoli is how I'm guessing, and for third, number 3, Speranza, another first-time starter and offspring of the great as a stallion and pretty good darn runner, Into Mischief. So 4-1-3.
Yeah, I put 3 on top. You mentioned Into Mischief. That attracts my attention. There's a sibling called March Express that won the first 2 starts of the career, including the 2017 Bolton Landing. Now, that was 5.5 on the turf, but still, it shows some precociousness top and bottom for this one. Steady string of workouts. None of them necessarily jump off the page, but again, with that early breeding, I just tilted in that direction. Second spot, I used your Empire Lily, who I think could be a player, and certainly the first out numbers for the trainer are good enough to tilt in that direction. And then number 6, Making My Move, 9-5 on the morning line. This one has a sibling called Gotta Go Mo. Took 6 starts to win, but then won start 6, start 7, start 8. So once the horse figured it out, ripped off a string of wins. There's some bullet workouts underneath for John Kimmel. This one may be a runner for Chester and Mary Broman. And Luis Saez on board. That can't hurt either. So certainly belongs in the conversation. I have a 3, 4, 6, and 2. And
that starts the early pick 4. You get a little look-see at who they're betting onto. The third, off the turf, 3-year-olds and up, state breds in for 45 or non-winners of 2 other than they'll stay racing 5.5.
Once again, I went with the MTO 3, 5, and 7. Market Alert gets the surface they want for this one. Had tried some state bred stakes over the last few starts, and the Mike Lee was an okay second in front of Lobster. And a little bit later on Racing Across America, we'll have Eddie F. on, who owns Lobster and also owns Eddie F's. Eddie Fazone will jump on board with me. We'll talk some of his horses and also some lobster rolls and fried clams at Eddie F's. They have a nice stand over on the track as well. He had Jasmine-esque yesterday. We had a decent little third. It looked like going up against it coming into the stretch, and did not stop running.
You want an Eddie F story?
Yeah, absolutely.
For years, his brother, me. When I say years, I mean every day for like 5 years. But I tell the story. The day you came down, I showed you the with anticipation. It was the photo finish with 4 horse. I go, I only have a straight try, and it came up for my way. But so it was painted white. They had the 4 televisions in there, right? And you could clearly see that one area had been dirtied up, like the way our hands and shirts used to look from the daily racing form paper. That was Eddie F's program through the whole summer of whacking that area. I don't know what you call it, stanchion or something. That was Eddie F hitting it through the whole summer, left the black ink of the post parade on that. You bring it up, he'll go, that was me. There's no way he denies it, but that was him. He'd see it every day. It was Eddie F's marking.
Literally left his mark.
That's right. I didn't think of that angle, but yes, that was Eddie F. He has a lot of energy, a lot of passion for the game.
Good. And again, coming up a little bit later, we'll also have Dallas Stewart will join us. He's got a runner in the
I hope he gave him a big window, because Eddie can.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
He can. Perfect. I'm good for that.
Just turn off your mic. Ask the first question and go.
I'm good for that. So Dallas and Keith McCalmont's going to join us too from Naira, but I invited Keith to talk a little Naira and a little Alabama, but I also wanted a little Queens plate from Keith, who used to be the guy up at Woodbine, but now
you have Dallas Stewart. Now he's the tie-in to the trivia question I asked you 2 weeks ago. You know, he was the regular exercise rider for Winning Colors.
Oh, okay.
You got to bring that up.
Okay.
And apparently she was quite a handful of him, but I would maybe write that down. There you go.
I'm putting it on.
If you ever need an associate producer for your show, I can be the guy.
I'm putting it on.
Now, here's the question I have in this race, Seth. There's a short field of 7, and if it wasn't for that, I'm thinking that I would think the 2, the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 7 would come out. But that's not going to happen. That would leave it a match race in here. So, you know, the racing, I mean, I looked at it, I guess maybe you think the 1 would stay in by Alpha with some moisture. But on their records here, you're thinking the 2, the 4, the 5, the 6, and 7, they come out in a heartbeat. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be some hopes and wishes that they stay in for the field size, and this is the opposite example where Market Alert, I think, is in a really good spot.
Yeah, I think he's the only one with any kind of proven dirt form.
I think the 6 would want to come out. All 6 of them would be like, we're out, but they're going to stuck. So Market Alert, I think, maybe the 5.
Was it the career debut or maybe the second start? How many races do we have on here? 3, 6, 9. No, it's the career debut for Scuttlebuzz. That was an okay race on the dirt. So I could see the 6 sticking in. Now, subsequently, there were some off the turfers that weren't quite as productive.
Right, and that's what you think. I mean, so it'll be interesting to see who stays in, but I think Market Alert is in a very enviable spot for our friend Jimmy Ryerson.
Yeah.
Who trained the early part of the career of Unbridled Song.
I put the 5 underneath too because there's the dirt start right up here at Saratoga last August that was pretty good. Showed some early speed, and if they try that again, that horse could be, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the number 5 horse, but I think that horse, looking at that dirt start, could be a player as well.
I mean, it'd be interesting. It will be interesting to see who stays in, because this is a rarity. It's a 5.5 furlong turf sprint that only had 6 horses enter, not counting the MTO, right? Is it 6 or is it even 5? 6 horses, not counting the MTO, which is rare. One more before the break?
Absolutely. Race number 4, maiden 40 claimers, going 6.5.
6-3, 1A for me. Couple first time in for the tag. That'll be the 5 and the 6. 5's only making the second career start. Clemenza is my top pick for Kelly Breen. It reads first time gelding. This horse raced on July 17th. Now you go up to the data and it says July 28th was the date reported. So for August 20th, I put that in the believable column. That I strongly think that is a possibility. We have shown good early speed. We're on the outside. Luis Saez has the mount. Sharp trainer. I'm going with the 6 on top. For second, scheduled break for the number 2 pose position is number 3, My Cousin Rich, in for the tag for the first time since the career debut at Parks. was runner-up on that afternoon. Tried maiden special weights, very understandable. Hasn't run since June 19th. Drops in for a tag for the second time in the career. The offspring are more than ready with Ricardo Santana, who rode this horse in the second start. I think they're going to use some giddy up from the inside, which I don't think is the worst idea. And for second, scheduled break for the number 6 post position is the 1A, the other Kelly Breen horse in here, making the second start since early April, 6-3, 1A. And I don't say the word very well, but it's a recidivist or something like that.
Recidivist.
Yeah, so that's 6-3, 1A.
Which is a great name. Buy into mischief out of again. Recidivist.
Yeah.
So,
do it again.
The one,
Repeat.
the
Redundant.
one, yeah, the one entry on top for me, 3, 6, and 5. Abdan and Recidivist to
You're
me
taking
both
a whole
look-
entry this time. Okay.
Because I think either one of them are
Yes.
players. They have the 2 Ortiz brothers on board, and I think I'm not giving them a huge.
Maybe they
edge,
could ding-dong
but a
each
slight-
other into defeat.
Yeah. With my luck, that's exactly how it'll play out. But I think they're both just slightly given the edge. The second spot goes to my cousin Rich. Gets back into the claiming ranks. The lone claiming start was a pretty good near miss finish down at Monmouth. I think that one is a player getting back for the 40 tag. And then I did use Clemenza in the third spot. I think, again, made special weight to maiden claiming, first time gelding, as you say. And I had Gary Contessa on a couple of years ago and asked him about that. And he said 2 or 3 weeks is legitimate.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and that's why you kind of do the backtracking. Yeah. We had some really sketchy ones when we first started going down this road with the gelding information, but it seems to have gotten better. But we've talked about it many times. How this isn't one thing in racing that's absolutely accurate each time.
Yeah, it was kind of the horse gets sent to a clinic. There's no requirement to do it. It was just when the horse showed up at the track the next time, somebody would look and okay, and that would be marked down as the date. Yeah, so
right.
The date was.
And that's why I brought up the 728. That's somewhere he was probably entered, and that's where it came up. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more live from the backstretch of Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on a dry Friday morning, off the turf, except for the 6th as of this moment. At the bottom of the hour, Seth, let's go over some of the Capital off-track betting promos.
I pulled them up while we were on the break, so and I do want to remind you, because today is the bounty bet. There's over $1,000 up for grabs with the bounty. Just play the late pick 5 today with your Capital OTB bet account. You have a shot at that $1,034 bounty this afternoon. Today also there's a $100 trifecta challenge down at the Clubhouse Racebook, so keep that in mind. Tomorrow the syndicate, again, when we get this late in the week, the syndicate is sewn up, but I always mention it because new syndicates open up on Sundays. So if you'd like to get in for next Saturday, keep that in mind. Check out the website on Sunday. For a modest amount of money, you can get in on a big pick ticket with the Saratoga syndicates. There's a $100 pick 3 bankroll coming up tomorrow, Saturday, that I will have still room on the team, or still room to take a shot to get on the team if you visit the website. There's a play the board contest tomorrow at the Clubhouse Racebook. Show pool bankroll coming up on Sunday. Again, check the website to put your name in the hat for that. And Sunday at the Clubhouse Racebook, pick 4 in a match bet promotion.
And the show pool is you, right?
Yeah.
How deep have you gotten? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I don't know if I've got.
People don't realize it's so much harder than you think. And I told some stories. I should probably. It makes for better television to do it live, but have you gotten to the 5th?
No.
No, listen, you're preaching to the choir. I understand. I told you all the times we did it, I think we won 3 times. And here's the other side, though. All 3 of them were scores. I mean, it seems like you're like, you go out, you pick somebody to run in the top 3. This has got to be easy. First off, that's wrong. And secondly, you will get paid, which is the way it should be. If it's difficult, you should get paid.
No, last Saturday or Sunday, my first one paid. I went $390.
Oh, because you got even money.
It went from $100 to $190, making the second. So you can come up with it. And I always say, for people in the backyard, it's kind of fun. If you're sitting at a picnic table, everybody throwing $20 and try a little 5-horse show pool, and you can't score out nicely.
It's not like shooting fish in a barrel. So
people think, you just got to have
run first, second, third, I win. Yeah, good luck with that. On to the 5th race off the turf. Now, these are 2-year-olds, so they'll shorten up to the green and white pole nowadays, which, by the way, I think is outstanding and should be an industry norm, that the odd furlongs should be in green and white, and the even ones should be red and white, and the 16th poles should be black. You could turn on a screen, you could recognize every distance, but I mention it because I've been coming here for little less than 50 years, and it was black and white till today. So they will shorten up. 2-year-olds shorten up to 7/8 on mile 16th races, field of 10.
I just left mine the same as what I had on turf, because there was nothing to kind of go on here really. So I was 8.627 on turf. I'm 8.627 on dirt. Now the dirt race for Achilles heel wasn't much, but it was the first start. I'm hoping maybe the follow-up was as much.
It was his Achilles heel, the dirt.
I like that, actually.
Thank you.
But I'm easy.
You are very easy.
Doesn't take much to. I'm hoping that the improvement was more second start than turf, but we'll find out more about that today. And even the second start, it was a near miss finish, but the number wasn't. So this is just, it's not a super strong field in here. I'll stick there, but with question marks. Make-Art didn't show much in the debut. It was on the dirt. If this one sticks, I'll trust Mike Maker to feel like we got some experience. Maybe we'll benefit from that, but that's a question mark. Dave Donk has Resilient Courage, who also, pretty much like the top pick. The first start was not much. The second start was improvement with the stretch out on the grass. I'm hoping that it was more experience than the distance and the surface, but again, we'll find out more about that this afternoon. We'll see how it plays out. I have kind of zero confidence, but I think 6, 2, and 7.
A couple things here is I have it's a field of 10. Let's say 10 stay in. 6 of them have run. Do you have any confidence that any of these 6 is going to be on the front going 7/8? They don't seem to be in a position to grab the race by the throat or be forwardly placed. So which one of the 4 underneath? I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe the 7 who has some bullets in here when there was abbreviated workouts here from Matthew O'Connor, who's an offspring of American Freedom. You might think that of the 4 firsters in here, since the 6 non-firsters don't seem to have early giddy-up, might be a chance here. I was 289, and I just maybe if Resilient Courage can show giddy up back on the dirt that's showed.
Adds blinkers also. Maybe
that you're thinking that Jose Ortiz, that in the 3rd start, that's where I'm going. I don't look at this very often, so but number 3, ownership. Ring a bell? I don't think he pops up very often, but as soon as I saw him, I knew what the colors would be underneath. Saratoga do.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. I don't know how many horses Mr. Angle has owned with any, but he was the owner, and they had those soft pink with the black for Gary Siaka. Unbelievably, Seth, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 289 for me. And like as I said, it's a field of 10. I don't know who's going to stay in. The 6 that I've run don't really seem to show that much early command of the racing.
So we are looking at some grass here in race number 6. Optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than mile and 3/16.
And I talked about how infrequently they've run this distance. Last year, Seth, I believe they ran it 4 times. 3 of them were stakes races. This year, I think this is the 4th time 2 of them were stakes races. This year, the Saratoga Derby, the Oaks type, is at this distance. I love them because they start at the top of the stretch for the fans. You're able to get position coming in, etc., etc. But Anders Shirley on Talking Horses has made a great point repeatedly of late, and that is with the Mellon Turf Course being the only place they can run the turf sprints here, kind of makes it the inner a real distance of ground turf course for them. And that, well, I think the most unfortunate part is I think most people, Seth, think that the Mellon Turf Course is a fairer test than the inner. That the inner traditionally was speed. They dropped the rails down inside. It became a real, but that many people through 40 years of me coming up here regularly have always thought that the Mellon was a truer test than others. So I am 428. This is supposed to be our turf race of the day. Capital Structure for me, making only the 2nd start of the year. Just got beaten the comeback race at 10 furlongs, which is a popular distance at Belmont Park. They run. Well, they used to run a bevy of maiden special weights at 10 furlongs on the inner turf course down there. Had a good start to the career. Went out to California, the Grade 1, the American Oaks that used to be at Hollywood Park in the summertime, out at Santa Anita on Malibu Stakes Day. Only raced once since then. Thought that was a good effort for second. Number 2, Fighting Lady, Chad Brown's other runner with IRAD, making the 3rd start of the year, coming out of the Galleret. And Cat's Pajamas for 3rd. Graham Motion shortening up out of an 11 furlong race to 9.5, but 4-8, and I think it's fair to say there will be, if I'm guessing, significant give after all the rain that course has received.
I am right with you as far as the exact, the 4-2-3 and 9 for me. I put Capital Structure over Flighty Lady, the 2 Chad Brown runners, both. I kind of went back and forth, and I just thought off the 1.25 mile near miss in the seasonal debut, I would tilt towards Capital Structure, but Flighty Lady, I think, is a solid player in here as well. La Dragontia in the 3rd spot for me. Christophe Clement runner was behind Dalika last time.
Just can't get away from that Robert G. Dick Memorial race.
I do like that race. I do like those horses when they come back up here, and I thought the 4th place finish was okay behind Dalika. And then you go back to the seasonal debut on the front end. That's interesting too. On the front end, wasn't cutting much as far as fractions, but it was just a little bit interesting at the 1 3/16.
Now I will point out, I tried to point it out earlier in the meet. It is my opinion that it was nowhere near soft going, and I've tried to show, let our audience know, please don't take my word for it. Go watch it on race replays. Make your own opinion, but that is nothing like what I have seen soft turf courses.
That's fair.
And I thought it was good to firm, and soft in America is supposed to be the worst, the biggest bog. I just don't think that's accurate. And the reason I truly pointed out is I don't think it's going to be similar to what you see out here. If you're thinking, oh, soft, well, it's going to have a lot of give here. I don't think that race had a lot of give. On to the 7th race. 3 rolls up, in for 25, non-winner to 2 lifetime. 9 furlongs on the dirt.
And 3, I put Give Me Some Mo on top. Has a little positional early speed. Runner takes another little dip down the claiming ladder that I think could be beneficial. I'm hoping it's beneficial because the race last time certainly was a dud on the front end before a big fade job. It was also over what was labeled a yielding course. You kind of have to hope this horse just doesn't need it super firm. That might be the case, so I can see taking a shot against this one, but I just thought with a little additional class relief might be beneficial. Road to Success in the second spot, lately raced, seems to be on the improve, claimed out of the last race. Trainer obviously very good off the claim, and I think this horse is a solid player with some upside potential and might wind up being the one to beat. Scotto in the third spot. Move up to Saratoga. Well beaten third, but passed most of the field despite that late in the race, and I kind of like that. That was over a muddy sealed track. Obviously, there'll be some moisture in the track today, you would think even by race 7, because I think it is going to be overcast. It'll dry out and may even be labeled fast by that point, but, it will certainly have a little moisture in the track, and so that could be beneficial as well. 6, 1, 4, and 3.
Frank Miramati back to Monmouth Park.
Yep.
If you ever come across John Embry, I do not see very many people at the track anymore, but I've always wondered, and since we probably just saw the last one, and I know it wasn't called this, ask if you see him, if he called on track, not the national broadcast, the 1982 Arlington Million. Because I think if you look in John's running line, who's been in NYRA for ever, but I think there was a very
you're right, I think.
And I think he tried to they wanted to replace Phil Georgieff, whatever, but I think John was out there in the summer of '82, and that was the year Perot won the Arlington Million. But I always wanted to run into him and ask if he was there and called it on track, as we probably just saw the last Arlington Million with 2 Emmys on the front, and we are scheduled, the Morminos that is, are scheduled to be out there a week from Saturday. We're going to leave Saturday right after the show and try and get in some racing at Arlington. But 6-3-1 for me. I think it's a wide open race, a great betting race, I believe. Give me some Mo as my top pick for Todd Pletcher. I'm throwing out the turf race. This horse has some early speed, and we have to hold on for the Uncle Mo. I'm going to take my chances here with Irad Ortiz. Looking at this race, I was like, all right, well, who's going to press me if I use my early speed? I like my position. Road to Success that you have and I have, is the one in here, and that's the horse that, is going to be, I think, up front early for Manny Franco. That would be a good decision. I have the 3 for Juan Vasquez, who's having a nice meet. First off the claim from Rob Atras, 6-3-1 in the 7.
Doing one more?
Yes, I think
That's
that's
the game
reasonable.
plan. All right. I will tee you up with starter allowance at the $50,000 level. 7 furlongs is the trip in race 8.
I don't think we had starter allowances in New York the first 40 years I paid attention to racing.
Yeah, well,
that was never a condition in
conditions
New
have
York.
clearly changed.
Oh, absolutely. 9-2-7 for me. Yeah, everything was just a claiming race or allowance race.
Yeah.
9-2-7 for me. Critical Threat is making the second start off of victory. Now, unlike the runner we said the other day, yesterday, who ended up finishing last as a 3-2 favorite, at 8-1, I can take the horse out of the debut into starter allowance here, and that's what I'm doing with Critical Threat, who hasn't run since the debut victory October 10th at Keeneland. Gelded since then. I'm on the outside going 7/8. For second, number 2, Likeable. First off the $40,000 claim. Barn has been cold up here, but this will be the third start, since late January. And for third, number 7, Full Court Press. You still play, Seth?
Not the last year and a half. I will if they get back.
There's no hoop outside at the house. Just go shoot some jumpers.
I have gone around and shot some baskets over the past.
For those who don't know, Seth is. What do you used to play? Twice a week?
I used to play 3 or 4 times.
4 times a week.
Most recently, I had gotten down to twice.
Full Court Press, so 9.
And I'm told that in the morning, over at the Y, they're now doing like an over 50, or have been for a while. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. That I may be aging into that. It's tough for me to get over there at 7 o'clock in the morning to
It's tough for you to get over here at 8:45 in the morning. Unless your power goes out, then we seem to have no problem getting you here.
Yeah, that morning I had to work.
8:05.
Eighth race for me, I have it 4, 10, 5, and 1. I put Jake Rocks on top. Dave Donk trainee. I just thought the last race, and it was an aberration as far as the number, so you don't quite know, but Luis Saez was on board, Stick's on board. I'm going to trust that maybe this horse just kind of appreciated the return to Saratoga, and maybe we can stick a couple of numbers like that together, but it's a question that has to be answered. Royal Realm in the second spot. The other Dave Donk trainee, Up the Claim, I thought ran well. Hasn't really run well throughout the career, but I thought fit nicely with this particular field. And Repo Rocks goes out for Tom Morley. First time gelding symbol showing up. And on the numbers, this horse is very, very dangerous in here. Irad Ortiz on board. So for me, 4, 10, 5, and 1.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the late Daily Double.
Welcome to the West. I'm Scott Varley at Saratoga's latest and greatest high-rise luxury condo. Starting in the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicapper Report alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. It's drier today. Of course, I can't imagine what conditions we'd need for it to be less dry than it was yesterday. But a little sticky, humid, but dry and off the turf, except for the 6th race, which the 9th wasn't included in that? Okay. 2-year-olds in the Skidmore, going 5.5.
I didn't see, and I haven't been able to log my computer on, so it is hard to believe that they didn't. Should this go on the turf, I have a 3, 9, 8, and 6. I use Coffee Maker on top if it is still on the turf. And again, I don't know if you have an official.
I'm gonna try and do it right now.
I'll keep diving in as you're looking.
We can,
because, like I said, I couldn't log on, so I didn't see. Should it be on the turf though? 3, 9, 8, and 6 with Coffee Maker on top for Wes Ward. Otherwise, if it does get switched off, 2, 7, 3, and 9. Averly Jane, another Wesley Ward runner. Filly against the boys in here, but she faced the boys in the Kentucky Juvenile at Churchill on a sloppy track last time and seemed to run very well. So I'll look for the same here. Overbore, another Wesley Ward runner, won the Tremont last time on a muddy track down at Belmont. I think that bodes well. Even with the surface switch, and then in the 3rd slot, actually I used Overboard down at the bottom of the mix on the dirt. In the 2nd slot for me on the dirt, Golden Bell, an MTO for Wesley Ward, another filly facing the boys. She did that over at Ascot last time and wound up in the back of the field, towards the back of the field. But the debut effort at Keeneland was enough to recommend that one. Then I put Coffee Maker in the mix and Overbore. So when I'm looking for the WW Superfecta in here on the dirt, 2, 7, 3, and 9.
Well, you don't get to say that too often, do you? I mean, think about it. Right? That not only does he help it go, is it 3 fillies and 1 colt?
Yeah, no.
I'm like, here we go. I'm like, but you often. We were talking yesterday. We showed we showed one live race and a tape race. How in Europe the fillies have taken on the colts, throughout their careers in big starts, Enable in the biggest races they have. But in America, you think of fillies when they're young and precocious distance, absolutely compete. I'm trying to see if there's any, because it would seem that they would have tried to keep this one.
Yeah, but I went to the go-to. Mark Hennig, race 6 is on. All other grass races are off.
Wow, and we appreciate that, Mark. He has been a beacon for
he's
what we do at the 9 to 10 for years and years. So that brings in the 2, brings in the 4 and the 7 if they like, and you suspect they entered for this spot. They're going to like very much, and it's hard to imagine that there's not going to be pace in this race. So I'll stay with Pure Panic making the second career start. I hope they stay in. I think they're going to sit a good trip. There seems to be multiple horses with early speed. I like Overboard also. Now this is 5.5. See how the racetrack's playing, but there seems to be enough early competitive pace that maybe sitting off of them in the flow of the race on the outside, particularly the last 16th of a mile, could be beneficial. And then number 1 won the career debut. See if they stay in. You're suspecting that
with lightly raced 3-year-olds, I kind of feel like they'll all stay.
You just go, right? You're like it's not that big of a thing. And by the way, that was always one of the thoughts about 5.5 turf racing, that when they came off the turf, they wouldn't be decimated like 9 furlong or 10 furlong, 11 furlong turf races. So 8-9-1 in this year's renewal of the Skidmore, soon to be renamed the Wesley Ward Invitational.
The finale today, scheduled to go up, at about 6:15 in the p.m. Maiden 40 claimers, scheduled for 1.16 miles on the grass, but now moves over to the main track. And as was
pointed out earlier, in the meet when we had an invitation with no fees. See, that was always the thing about those invitationals. There was no fees to run in stakes race. It was truly an invitation. They have invitations now where you get the invite, then you have to pay. That doesn't sound like the way my parents raised me to invite people, but okay. 3, 9, 10, we're off the turf here. Going to go 9 furlongs. Remember, and right, I'm not missing a page. There's no MTOs.
There is not.
I think we had the same situation in yesterday's finale. There was no
I think you're right.
MTOs, which is rare. So I'll handicap who's staying in first. All of them. That's why. Well, maybe number 10, Never Content. He would seem to be in the crosshairs of coming out, maybe. I don't know. So it's 3, 9, 10 for me. And I think I'd probably like to bring the 1 in now with the early speed. Just get up and go. I think the 1 would deserve to be in my mix. The 8, Dearest Kitten, Sweet Mission. Mark Henning, are you running? Did he let us know if Sweet Mission is going to run? He only told us he's going to wait till 6:13. Well, he has until later on. And Never Content for 3rd, making the second time in for the tag. Makes the drop down from trying 75s in the middle of May. But 3, 9, 10. As I said, shuffling up the 1 who's first time in for the tag, I'd want to bring in the mix. And the 8, Dearest Kitten, Mike Maker first off the claim with Luis Saez.
Our friends at Bonaventure, unfortunately, they have had some races rained off at the meet.
I think they stay in a hard spot. I'm staying in. Call them up.
It's been hard luck for them though at the meet. I feel for them because they've had a few of these at the meet. But I have it 1, 6, 10, and 5 like you. Salino on top with the early speed from the rail. Second slot, I went to Malibu Anthem. The off the turf for last time says you have to put that one in your mix. And then I used number 10. I just, there was some workouts underneath.
Yeah,
all right. And I thought, with the extra class relief, if they stay in, I'll take a look at that one. So 1, 6, 10, and 5.
I'll be interested to see if the 11 stays in, but no MTOs in the finale, so we expect a nice full field in there and see if the bettors can be as good as yesterday when 4-1 was the bomb of the day yesterday. They really did a great job yesterday. Scratches will be up in a little while. I presume we're time for the DePaula moment, right?
It may be time
at
for
least
the
there's a
DePaula
spot.
moment.
I don't.
We may just send it to a commercial, and we
Yeah.
may be announcing you because we have other folks in the control room. So I'm not sure how it's going to work or not. But we'll send it to the DePaula break, and we'll come back, and either we'll be joined by Anthony or we will give you the play of the day. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. Here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Papa. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart very dominant. It's going to be a 3-horse finish of the turn. Here's the wire. Final finish.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Family owned since 1980, DePaula means quality and convenience, along with concerned and certified technicians. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs. At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Over $2 million in original factory parts means you receive the very best for any make or model. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
Today's DePaula Play of the Day comes in race number 8 at the Spa. The number 5, Ripple Rocks, did not have the best of beginnings last time. And for a horse like him, who in this prior start had a little position, lost all position that day, race came back really fast. Baby Yoda, Jake Rocks is back in here. Jake Rocks right to his inside, earned a 90 buyer speed figure that day. I would have to think with a little bit of a better break, Ripple Rocks would have been a lot closer. He's been in real good form since being claimed by trainer Tom Morley. Look for him to get a good stalking trip in here. His races 2, 3, even 4 back get him a big piece of this, if not the whole thing. Repo Rocks, the number 5 in race number 8. Today's DePaula Play of the Day.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Big A, Anthony Spiel, taking us to race 7. That's the starter allowance race, going 7 furlongs. He has number 5, Repo Rocks, as his DePaula Play of the Day.
8.
What?
Race 8.
Race 8.
Yeah. Race
7
8,
furlongs.
number 5. Yeah, you said so.
85. 7 furlongs.
Yeah.
There's a 7 in there somewhere. So who do you have on Racing Across America again?
Coming up next, and I saw him out in the green room, our friend Dallas Stewart's going to come in. He has a runner in the Alabama coming up tomorrow, Will's Secret, so we'll talk a little bit about that one and more with Dallas. Ed Fazone from Eddie F's, both the restaurant and the racing side of things. We'll talk to him. And towards the end of the program, Keith McCalmont from NYRA, have him coming in to talk a little NYRA, a little Alabama. And Blake, because he used to be up at Woodbine. He was our guy at Woodbine for a while, so I thought we'd...
Well, oldest continuously run North American stakes, right? So you got the winning color and the bashing the television monitor. He stays, I go, ladies and gentlemen. Much better day out here today. Enjoy your afternoon at the races.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.